thought I wasn't paying attention. He thought silence meant blindness. But I watched every move in the dark while they smiled in the light, pretending innocence. I watched the money disappear. Then suddenly they were online flashing stacks of cash like trophies from a war they never fought honestly, posting pictures, laughing, acting rich of pain they never earned. And they looked at me like I was naive, like I was too broken to notice, too kind to question, too trusting to see the setup unfolding right in front of me. But I saw everything. I saw the manipulation hidden behind fake concern. I saw the lies wrapped in charm. I saw how they moved in secrecy because people who operate in darkness fear exposure from the they operate in darkness, fear exposure more than God himself. There was no proof strong enough to make people believe me. No screenshots that could fully explain the psychological warfare. So I stayed silent, not because I was weak, but because sometimes silence is the only shield a wounded soul has left. And while I stayed silent, they mocked me, called me stupid, laughed at my pain like it was entertainment, celebrated stealing from someone who once trusted them with a pure heart. They hacked into my life like parasites, my phone, my emails, my social media, made fake accounts pretending to be me, messaged people wearing my identity like a costume, smearing my name, assassinating my character, trying to make me look unstable while they hid behind their own corruption, behind fake masks and stolen personalities. And the craziest part, the people who wanted to be me the most were the same people who hated me the deepest, copying my energy, watching my every move, stealing my identity, while secretly resenting the light I carried naturally. Imagine hating someone so much you study them obsessively, trying to erase them while becoming them at the same time. That is not admiration, that is spiritual sickness. They wanted my inheritance, not just money, my God given inheritance, my purpose, my voice, my spirit, my destiny. But what God places over someone's life cannot be stolen by envy. You can copy the image, but never the soul behind it. You can imitate the glow, but you cannot duplicate the fire heaven placed inside someone chosen to survive hell. So, yes, I stayed quiet, but silence does not mean ignorance, and patience does not mean defeat, because eventually the truth exposes itself. People addicted to deception always self destruct, trying to maintain illusions. And one day, even fake masks will fall. Every hidden hand will be revealed. Every stolen thing will carry the weight of judgment attached to it. And I will still be standing, not because people protected me, but because God did. See, narcissistic people often destroy their own future, chasing temporary temptations that feel powerful in the moment but leave permanent damage behind. What they call winning is usually self-sabotaged, disguised as control. A moment of ego, a moment of greed, a moment of validation, a moment of lust, a moment of power over another human being. And for that temporary satisfaction, they gamble away trust, peace, relationships, purpose, and sometimes even their entire destiny. because people who are deeply disconnected from themselves cannot truly value what is good for them long term. They chase what feeds the ego today, even if it poisons their tomorrow. Many narcissistic and psychopathic people are trapped inside unresolved trauma they refuse to confront. Instead of healing, they project. Instead of reflecting, they manipulate. Instead of accountability, they blame everyone around them. And that unhealed darkness becomes a cycle, the same lies, the same betrayals, the same destruction. Different faces, different places, same pattern. That is why karmic cycles keep repeating in their lives. Not because the universe hates them, but because lessons ignored return louder each time. They hurt people to avoid facing their own wounds. They sabotage love because real intimacy exposes the parts of themselves they spent years hiding. They destroy good things because chaos feels more familiar than peace. And eventually, temporary temptations become permanent consequences. The money fades, the attention fades, the fake image fades, but the damage they created follows them internally everywhere they go. A healed soul understands that real power is self control, real strength is accountability, real freedom is breaking destructive cycles before they consume your future. Because if a person never heals what lives inside them, they will continue recreating the same suffering while blaming the world for the fire they keep starting themselves. They traded their future for temporary highs, sold their peace for ego in disguise, a moment of power, a moment of greed, a soul so empty it could never be freed. Narcissists dance with mirrors and masks, avoiding the shadows that healing ask. Psychopathic hearts, cold from old pain, repeat destruction again and again. Unhealed trauma became their throne, so they hurt the world to escape their own. They sabotage love before love can stay, because chaos feels safer than peace anyway. Temporary temptations became lifelong scars. They kept chasing illusions while losing themselves in the dark. Different faces, same karmic loop, same manipulation, same rotten fruit. The universe whispers first, then screams through pain. Lessons ignored always return again. For what you refuse to heal will rule your fate, and what you keep feeding will eventually dominate. A healed soul knows real strength is within, not conquering others while collapsing in sin. Because true power does not destroy, it protects its future instead of chasing decoys. And one day they realize when the mask finally fall, they were never defeating others, they were destroying themselves all alone.